And now, it's Coast Vue with Ricky Mathews. Brought to you by J. Allen Toyota, Gulf Coast Business Supply, and AGJ Systems and Networks on SuperTalk 103.1 FM.
Welcome to Coast Vue, the show that celebrates the men and women who are making coastal Mississippi such an amazing place to live, work, and play. We have a good show today. I'm going to turn to our friend Lee Bond here in just a second. He's the CEO of Singing River Health Systems. But before we do that, I just wanted to share something with you. I made a post on the Ricky Mathews Coast Vue site about some observations that I made about coastal Mississippi tourism. And, I never claimed to have a full grasp of the situation because the truth, as we all understand it, is only as good as your current information. You're going to learn something tomorrow and you're going to get a little bit better. But I think life's a journey, and it's one of constant discovery. Someone actually went in, about 1,200 people have been interacted with that post. So people care deeply about what's happening in this subject. But someone said there's more than one side to the story. And I said, well, actually, there's as many sides of the story as there are people involved in the story. That's why for the last couple of months, I spent a lot of time talking to tourism leaders and mayors and business leaders and lots of people. And I developed my view of things at that moment. And it kind of got me thinking, and I just want to share some thoughts with you this morning. I shared this before from Audrey Hepburn, but she said this: you can tell more about a person by what he says about others than you can by what others say about him. I think that's a really valuable statement. Here's another one from Albert Einstein. Few are those who see with their own eyes and feel with their own hearts. And another one by Albert Einstein. You do not really understand something unless you can explain it to your grandmother, which means you better do your homework. Well, this got me thinking about a great book that's out called Think Again, The Power of Knowing What You Don't Know. And it's by a guy named Adam Grant. And recently in a newsletter that I get called Thinker, it had a quick little kind of summation of that book. And I just want to read it to you because it's pretty powerful. And here's what it said. We live in a culture that shudders at the thought of being wrong. Whether in our spheres of politics, sports, or daily life, most of us fail to see the areas in which we miss pertinent information. Despite our tendency to idolize correctness, if we want to know anything at all, we must recognize that we are often, if not always, incorrect. Professor of Organizational Psychology Adam Grant helps us along, exposing the pitfalls and our culture's desire to know it all. Using wisdom from psychological studies and real-world examples, Grant implores us to shed our addiction to exactitude and revel in the knowledge that we hold in our heads will never come to close to completion. Let's say that again. Revel in the knowledge that what we hold in our heads will never come to completion. So here's kind of my observation about that. Are we really willing to accept life as a constant journey, that the more we learn, the more we better learn how much we don't know, that process of learning actually keeps us humble? And ultimately, I wonder, do people think for themselves? Because if you do think for yourself, you sometimes have to be willing to offend others with what you think. But we live in a time when thinking for yourself is not often celebrated. Unfortunately, just the opposite happens. Independent thought is often criticized these days, whether it's in our daily lives, when we have a tendency to jump on what I call the perceived conventional wisdom bandwagon, or it could be on social media, as my friend Mark Henderson said. Too many people go to social media each day to be told what they should think today. Or it could be in any number of commissions along the coast where political pressure or groupthink steals independent thought and understanding. I could go on, but I hope this kind of gives you something to think about. I'll close with Albert Einstein, what he said: few are those who see with their own eyes and feel with their own hearts. I wish more people would think independently. Now let's shift gears and move over to my friend Lee Bond, who's the Chief Executive Officer for Singing River Health Systems, a great friend of Coast Vue, and someone I've grown super close to because, man, we've been on a journey, haven't we, Lee, over the past year?
Been a wild ride.
It's been a wild ride. Hey, speaking of the wild ride, I mean, we're still in the midst of a pandemic. You guys have made incredible contributions to vaccinating Mississippians. Why don't you kind of give us an update on the pandemic situation?
Sure. So the biggest thing I can tell you is we exceeded the 40,000 mark on people vaccinated. And I know Mississippi's a little lower than other states, but we're more rural than other states as well. And so I don't feel too terrible about where we are as a state, given our rurality. And I would say that the other thing I'm proud of is we continue to test people and take care of people. We're over 85,000 tests performed, 10,000 of those positives. The other update is we're sort of at a plateau a little bit. I do wish more people would get vaccinated. I saw you had your wristband that shows you were vaccinated. Thanks for being a leader with that. And I think that the plateau we're at, which is about between the three hospitals, it might go up or down at one, but we've been pretty much level at about 10 total patients for probably about 5 or 6 weeks. And so I'd like to see that get down to where we have a couple of days at 0, but it's still out there. People are still spreading it. There was a little dance recital I heard about recently on the coast, and a lot of people got it through going to that. So you still have to be careful, be smart, wash your hands, and don't get up in people's face when you're talking. I think you do those two things and you can do a lot better. But hopefully the worst of it's behind us, and we can continue slowly getting back to normal.
What I urge, and you can say just a couple of words about this. Recently, someone we know ended up on a ventilator, and the entire group that he kind of was around, none of them had been vaccinated. And they were just kind of saying, we're not going to get vaccinated for whatever reason. But my strong belief, and I hope people who are at least maybe still thinking about whether they should get it or not, that if you're in a vulnerable class, man, get it. And as Dr. Congress said so many times before, he sees the risk associated with if you're in the vulnerable class and you get COVID versus if you get the vaccine. So what do you want to say about that, Lee?
I want to say now more than ever in our history of our lifetime is the time to be selfless. Don't think about yourself. Think about other people that you might infect. I would say get vaccinated for the sake of others. Put other people first ahead of yourself. That's what I would say.
That's been a very consistent message coming from you. Hey, we're going to talk about the all-A hospital safety grade that you got in both Pascagoula, Ocean Springs, and Gulfport Hospitals. We're going to come back to that in just a second. But I want to just talk just quickly about your partnership with Ochsner. What's the latest there?
So the latest there is that it continues to go well with any partnership. Just like any marriage, you continue to grow and things continue to happen that are great. The latest, we are embarking on a trial with our own employees of testing some of their digital medicine technology. One of the benefits to us is they're just so much bigger than us, and they have such a deeper arsenal of resources for things like that. So whether it's hypertension, diabetes, or even now on the cusp of some things with hyperlipidemia and women and children's health, they're able to use digital monitoring to really make an impact in people's lives. And so that's one of the latest things. But we continue to see benefits from transfers. We are never going to be, the Mayo Clinic or Atlanta or some big, I say never, not in our lifetime. We have to remember who we are. We are the nice, wonderful Mississippi coast that we live on. And for us to do lung transplants and liver transplants and things like that it's just not likely that we would be able to do that. They are experts in those things. And so we've had many patients benefit from the ability to transfer them to Ochsner for the greatest care in the country to receive those sorts of things. And every day that goes by, there's some benefit of the relationship. People ask me all the time, why did we do this and what's it about? And I'll tell you, it kind of goes back to what you said. You've got to, at the beginning with Einstein, you've got to say, what's, think with your heart and see what's the best thing for your people and for our community. And we knew that as healthcare evolved in the country, it gets tougher, we needed a partner. So we looked at different partners all over the southern region, and we really felt like their brand and culture most aligned with us. A silly analogy perhaps, but It's like when Reese's, you remember the old commercial with Reese's peanut butter cups? You got the chocolate and the peanut butter, and next thing you know, this great thing was invented, and they're better together. It's the same thing. We're better together. We believe that with what they bring to the table in technology and higher level of care, coupled with our great provision of our core services of heart, cardiac, and surgical care, that together we just think we make a better team. So that's what it's about. It's just an ongoing strategic relationship to hopefully benefit the people of the Mississippi Gulf Coast.
You know, Lee, when I was in New Orleans, president of NOLA Media Group and publisher of the Times-Picayune, had an opportunity to talk to the leaders at Oxygen on a regular basis. And long before the pandemic, telemedicine and all the things that you mentioned, investing in technology, was a huge part of their strategic plan. And when we come back, I have one more thought about that, and then we'll shift gears and get over to your outstanding performance on your safety ratings. We'll see you after this break, and we'll continue our conversation with Lee Bond.
Coast Vue on SuperTalk 103.1 is brought to you by J. Allen Toyota on I-10 exit 38 Gulfport. See all the incredible inventory at allentoyota.com. And remember, when you think Toyota, think J. Allen Toyota.
Hey, South Mississippi, it's Jay Allen at Jay Allen Toyota, and I got something new for you for 2021. It's the Jay Allen Certified Collection. What that means is we selected our very best inventory with under 75,000 miles, and they're 6 years old or newer. That comes with a multi-point inspection, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, and a 3-day buyback guarantee. So come check out the Jay Allen Certified Pre-Owned Collection right here at I-10 exit 38 in Gulfport or on allentoyota.com.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking hard-to-find PPE items. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. When your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
SuperTalk Mississippi.
From outer space, visitors from another world. We've had contact with bug-eyed monsters.
This is actually a flying saucer.
Flying saucer?
I'm from another planet.
Where late nights are kind of weird.
Well, they must have a reason for their visits.
The unexplained, the weird, and the downright creepy. Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Late nights. SuperTalk Mississippi. If Alexa's part of your life, you've got one more way to access SuperTalk. SuperTalk Mississippi is now available on Amazon Alexa devices. Once enabled, just say, Alexa, play SuperTalk Mississippi at any time and start listening. It's that easy. Just one more way to stay informed and connected with your state. Learn more at supertalk.fm/Alexa. SuperTalk Mississippi. SuperTalk Mississippi. Now available on Amazon Alexa devices. Feeling down? Here's your prescription for a daily dose of good news and positive vibes. Good Things with Rebecca Turner. Every afternoon, Rebecca highlights all the good things happening right here in the state you call home. Daily exposure to Good Things with Rebecca Turner may cause smiling, feelings of positivity, happiness, and even laughter. When you experience these symptoms, tell your friends to listen. Okay. Weekdays starting at 2 p.m. here on SuperTalk Mississippi and now on Amazon Alexa devices.
106.3 Casino Radio is here. Tune to 106.3 to discover all of our must-see attractions and everything that's happening at our 12 incredible casino resorts. Where to eat, where to stay, what to do, and where to play. 106.3 Casino Radio has you covered with everything you need to know to help make your visit here to the coast one you'll never forget. Turn on 106.3 Casino Radio or listen now on our website, CasinoRadio1063.com.
This is Coast View with Ricky Mathews on SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
Welcome back to Coast View. We're visiting with Lee Bond, the Chief Executive Officer for Singing River Health Systems. And when we went to break, we were talking about this incredible collaboration where it's like two puzzle pieces coming together with Ochsner and Singing River sort of aligning around patients under certain scenarios. Anything else you want to say about that relationship, Lee?
I'd just say that it continues to benefit, hopefully, our guests and patients that we serve every day. We're really enjoying the partnership and what they bring to the table. They've got a great brand. We've got a great brand. We fit together really well. They're a not-for-profit. They're a private not-for-profit. We're a governmental not-for-profit. We both maintain our independence, but we just work hand in hand every day for the benefit of patients and the mission of improving health and saving lives. So we couldn't be more happy with the relationship.
So we'll shift gears. When I read the story about the A hospital safety grades for your hospitals, I knew at the time it was a big deal. But obviously, the more I dove into it, and as we prepared for this meeting today, it's even a bigger deal than I realized when I set the course to have a conversation with you. Say why this is important. So
it is a big deal. I'm glad you recognize that. We're very happy about it. I remember when I first started here, we were not an A. We were a high C, and we talked about what it would take. It's a long journey. It's not easy to get there. And what the A rating represents, Leapfrog Group is a national company that rates hospitals throughout the entire country, and it's really the gold standard for determining patient safety. They have a 28-point composite score that's everything from you've got to have almost no infections, whether it's surgical site infections or hospital-acquired infections. You've got to have a very high success rate with surgeries. You've got to have good service scores. You've got to have strong electronic record entry by physicians and utilization. So there's a lot that goes into it, and so much hard work by hundreds of people, literally, to get that. And then what's really awesome is to have all three hospitals as an A. We were trying to find another system that had where all of their hospitals had an A. And the closest to us is probably Ochsner, which, by the way, Hancock County, the small facility there, also has an A. And so together, we're the only 4 A-rated systems, I think, south of, I think there's one in around Starkville. But it's a big deal. It's a sign of the commitment of those people on the front line to, keeping their hands clean and ensuring that the patients and guests are happy. And so it's a lot of work, a testament to our people, and I couldn't be more proud of them. And as you see on the back, my friend Vince Lombardi, I'm a fan, and we knew we wanted to be an A-rated system, and we did what it took to get there. And so
was this this is a goal prior to the pandemic?
Yes. Actually, it was a goal probably about 4 years ago. We started on the journey to see what it would take to have that pinnacle of quality and safety. And so it was tough. It was a lot of work, but they've got it, and it is a big deal.
So, I've been involved in efforts like this, where you're really trying to institutionalize something significant inside the company, widely inside the company. So you're not just talking about training and what people do and how it could adjust some of the way they do their work, but it's really about cultural change too, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's a combination of culture. You've got to want it. Again, back to your opening. I mean, you've got to have it in your heart. It's not something you can just put on paper and do. Don't get me wrong, there are a lot of hardwiring commitments that it takes procedurally, but the foundation of it all is a culture, and a culture of service that I think is unique. And frankly, healthcare in America, not just here in America, it's just not something that was traditionally focused in that manner. So for this little health system in South Mississippi to get all A's is it's a testament to an underlying culture.
I would say that if it started some 4 years ago, that the process to get to where you were ahead of the pandemic, it was just those two things sort of went hand in hand. I mean, you could not have been better positioned to prepare and to deal with the pandemic, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. And I think it helped us deal with the pandemic. We took care of another one of the big components in the composite is your ICU, your internal intensive care unit care. And we actually took care of more people per capita in our ICU than most any hospital in the region. And that's because we were prepared prior to the pandemic to be able to do that. We had people coming from all over North Mississippi when those hospitals were saturated. We were able to take care of people from nearly every part of our state. So it was all the journey before the pandemic that put us in the position to achieve the A and also endure the pandemic successfully too.
So Lee, I say this almost every day, but I try to find inspiration every day. I've always tried to find inspiration every day. As far back as I can recall, I was always trying to fill my mind with something that was positive, that was uplifting, that was goal oriented, that would give me more determination to want to tackle the world. And I was going to outwork you for sure if I couldn't outsmart you. But you also do the same thing. And you mentioned the thing behind you. And for the radio audience, I just want them to know that what it is it's an article or quote or a story by Vince Lombardi, and the headline says, "What it takes to be number one." What does that mean to you?
Well, it means a lot. He's one of my heroes, obviously, and he was very focused on the hard work and sacrifice. One of the things he said, if you want to win, you got to pay the price. And even before the pandemic, I think that we have people here that made the sacrifice. They did what it took to win. And you've got to do that if you want to be a winner. You got to adopt a winner's mindset. And a lot of the foundation of that is, obviously my personal Christian beliefs and also the inspiration of somebody like Vince Lombardi, who was really focused on doing whatever it takes to be number one. And I think that permeates throughout our whole team. They serve with heart and soul every day, focused on, for us, winning means good outcomes for our patients and guests. That's what it's all about for us.
So, what's interesting, and for the radio audience that didn't see mine and your hour-long Coast Vue session together, you came from the gaming industry. You were involved in the finance side. You're a CPA. And then you jumped over to the hospital. In an interesting way, the whole notion of the competitive nature of gaming and the way you had to perform at a high level to be where you needed to be, the impact on having a lot of influence on the culture of the company so that you could have everybody aligned around the customer. It's very interesting that your financial background, your cultural background, all the things sort of add up to position you in this moment to be a pretty decent CEO of a hospital system at this stage of the game. Do you see it that way?
Maybe a little bit. I mean, I'm a common man in an extraordinary job, and I'm humbled that I get to do this. I love working with the people that I work with and getting to see them every day. And I've always had sort of a service mindset. That's sort of my thing. But I think God has blessed me very richly in my journey in that, having that finance background as a foundation, and then having all of that time in the hospitality business, which is your life depends on your ability to provide good service. All of that added together, I think, has really put me in a good position to be able to help us with the things we've been through in healthcare. So I think it's just, I think God just put me on a good path, and it all worked to the benefit, hopefully, of His glory and the glory of this system.
Yeah, I know that you didn't want this all to be about you, but remember how it got to know you was we served on the Jackson County Chamber Board together. Yep. And, look at all the work that you've done in the community. And more specifically, recently, you're a member of the executive committee for the Gulf Coast Business Council. And you look at that executive committee now, Roy Anderson and William Yates and all the others that are involved. It's literally a dream team of CEOs from so many different sectors of our economy. I think it's the right people at the right moment to help continue to position coastal Mississippi to be successful in the future, focusing on the new economy, focusing on how money is spent for BP and all the other opportunities we have. You don't take that lightly, do you?
No, not at all. I've had the fortunate opportunity to go look and work at other places in the world, and there's nowhere I'd rather be than right here. We have such a great, awesome Gulf Coast that we live on, and I think that for somebody who worked 20 years in Harrison County and was born and raised in Jackson County, and now we have facilities and relationships that span all three, including Hancock. I think it's a civic duty I have to try to help all of us succeed together as one coast. That's the goal. And I'm just, again, can't say how fortunate I am to be a part of the Business Council and the things we do, and hopefully continue to advance the causes of businesses on the coast, because that's what.
Well, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for landing in a role where you could make a difference, and it's fun sort of following you and being inspired by you. And congratulations on all your successes. And I know you'll wake up tomorrow morning. You're only as good as your last performance, and you're going to do it all over again. So keep up the great work, Lee. I appreciate it, man.
Well, thank you, Ricky. I appreciate it. I'm only as good as my number one frontline team member, and that's what we're here for. So
I know you really feel that way too. That's great. So this has been Lee Bond, the Chief Executive Officer for Singing River Health Systems. When we come back, we'll be checking in with Robby D'Angelo.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking very hard-to-find PPE items to make our community a safer place. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. They were even sending thousands of dollars of PPE supplies free to local schools in need with help from other local business leaders. The next time your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider a local company that supports your ball teams, cheerleaders, and area homeless. Consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply, the local guys that keep your prices fair, your service and selection excellent, and your health our business. Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
SuperTalk.fm has a new look and is more informative than ever with expanded Mississippi news coverage, the latest Mississippi weather, Mississippi sports, and of course, the talk that's important to you. Every show, every podcast, and every late-breaking story. Constantly updating the news the second new developments happen. All in one place. The new SuperTalk.fm.
106.3 Casino Radio is here. Tune to 106.3 to discover all of our must-see attractions and everything that's happening at our 12 incredible casino resorts. Where to eat, where to stay, what to do, and where to play. 106.3 Casino Radio has you covered with everything you need to know to help make your visit here to the coast one you'll never forget. Turn on 106.3 Casino Radio or listen now on our website, CasinoRadio1063.com.
Hey, South Mississippi, the future has arrived. It's 2021, and at J. Allen Toyota, we're here to serve you. Want to let you know that we have Allen's lifetime warranty on every new Toyota we sell. That also comes with Toyota Care. That's 2 years and 25,000 miles of complimentary maintenance. We have a great rental department. Our service department's ready to take care of your current vehicle. We're rolling out J. Allen certified pre-owned for 2021. You got to come to I-10 exit 38 right here in Gulfport. You're going to love what we have to offer. When you think Toyota, think Allen Toyota.
Feeling down? Here's your prescription for a daily dose of good news and positive vibes. Good Things with Rebecca Turner. Every afternoon, Rebecca highlights all the good things happening right here in the state you call home. Daily exposure to Good Things with Rebecca Turner may cause smiling, feelings of positivity, happiness, and even laughter. When you experience these symptoms, tell your friends to listen.
Okay.
Weekdays starting at 2 p.m. here on SuperTalk Mississippi and now on Amazon Alexa devices.
Hey, I'm Steve Azar, and you never know who or what you'll hear when I spend a Mississippi Minute with my friends. Talking to Paul Thorne, Mississippi true treasure, really incredible recording artist, singer, songwriter, has been doing it a long time, doing it the right way.
It's almost like a Forrest Gump thing because, I was a boxer, / I worked in a furniture factory, / I had a gig 2 nights a week playing my acoustic guitar in a pizza restaurant, / I was in the National Guard, and,
Wow.
all this stuff was going on at the same time. / Slash, I had a writing contract with Rick Hall and Fame.
In a Mississippi Minute.
Be sure to check out In a Mississippi Minute with me, Steve Azar, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi, the SuperTalk Mississippi app, and now available on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher.
For something new and unique in talk radio, take a listen to The Ben Shapiro Show. Every day, we're driving the debate in America with the fastest moving, hardest hitting, most comprehensive fact-based commentary on the radio. We don't hold back. We never shy away from telling you the truth. Our show is a meeting place of ideas. We have the most important guests and the biggest thinkers in America.
Weeknights at 9.
For something new and unique in talk radio, take a listen to The Ben Shapiro Show
on Super Talk Mississippi. Whether you're brand new to the DIY craze or a seasoned veteran, the Handyman Show has something for you. Buddy Slowick shares tips and tricks on everything from odd jobs to complete build-outs, from small home repairs to serious construction. So no matter if you're at the master carpenter level or not quite sure how to use a level, the Handyman Show answers your questions with a healthy dose of humor and some great music too. Saturdays, 10 to noon on Super Talk Mississippi and on Super Talk TV.
Super Talk Mississippi.
Just seems to me people have so much invested in not telling the truth.
When you want the truth.
Simply because it might hurt some feelings.
And nothing but the truth.
Lose some subscribers.
You want the Gallo Radio Show.
I just think in this audience, you still believe that if you tell the truth, you come out ahead.
The Gallo Radio Show.
And if you tell yourself otherwise, you're lying to yourself.
Mornings on Super Talk Mississippi.
And now, it's Coast Vue with Ricky Mathews. Brought to you by J. Allen Toyota, Gulf Coast Business Supply, and AGJ Systems and Networks on Super Talk 103.1 FM.
Welcome back to Coast Vue. Coming back to Albert Einstein at the beginning of the show. Few are those who see with their own eyes and feel with their own hearts. There's so many applications to that. It's really incredible. Hey, I really enjoyed my visit with Lee Bond. What a phenomenal leader he is of Singing River Health System. What a phenomenal. He was the right guy at the right time, and not only for the system as they were sort of recovering from some financial woes, but also with the pandemic coming on and all of that. Great leader there, great leader in the community, and he's a really good friend, and I'm thrilled to have him. So now let's move over to Robby D'Angelo, human optimization coach. He's a regular on Coast Vue. He's very inspiring. But you heard what I said from Albert Einstein. Few are those who see with their own eyes and feel with their own hearts. You know, there's a lot to be said for that. You know a lot about heart, don't you, Robby?
A little bit. I'm definitely a heart-centered person.
And so am I, man. So am I. Hey, listen, I wanted you to know I went on vacation last week. We have a little get-together with Ann's family over in Destin, actually in Miramar Beach. We do that every year. And about 21 of us come together. There's a really large home, about 9 bedrooms or something like that. And we spend a week together, and it's just great to see everybody, and we spend a lot of time together. But one of the things I do when I go on vacation, I've always done this, is I'll run or walk, and now I get to where I just bring my bike with me, and I'll ride my bike. I did 83 miles on the bike last week and did a 7-mile run on top of it, and got to see a lot of that beautiful area while I do it. And I came back feeling better than when I left. So, I got good night. I got 8 hours of sleep every night. I don't stay up. They all stay up till like late. And I go to bed early. I'm famous for that. But, drinking plenty of water, ate a little more than normal. But, when you're out there, riding the bike a lot. But, Robby, you know this about me. I do this anyway. I'm 63 years old. I have worked out weights and walked or run for 40 years. And, more recently, the last couple of years, done a lot of bike riding. It's been great for me because it's easy on the joints. But that's what I do. That's the determination I have. When we last visited, actually, you were headed toward a 22-week plan to prepare for a bodybuilding show, essentially. How are you doing on that journey? When's the show? Talk to us about sort of where you are these days.
Yeah, to give you a little update, we are in the home stretch. This is actually what they call peak week, where you're achieving that like peak physical look, and the competition is actually this Saturday at the Coliseum and Convention Center, and I'm excited, man. It's been a long journey. We literally started prepping January 1, and now it's time to finish.
Well, congratulations on your hard work. And it's really amazing what you've done. And what I said to you off the air, that what it does, though, is it prepares you to be a better coach of people. You know, you spend a lot of time talking about the what goes on in people's minds, what goes on in their heart, that these things have to be aligned in order for people to have, you know, the kind of consistency toward feeling better physically and mentally. You spend a lot of time doing that. But what you learn about yourself and the human spirit, the capacity of the human spirit to improve themselves is unbelievable what you learned during this journey, isn't it?
That's the main thing. I mean, I love doing this because I practice what I preach. I never tell anyone to do anything. I'm not one to do myself. But at the same time, when you go through a journey like this, like I was already in decent shape, but I'm just taking my physique to its potential. Is you learn, like you said, you learn what the human spirit's capable of. You learn those perceived boundaries you have, and how with just a little bit of self-talk and a little bit of positive affirmation, you can push through them. You can keep going. I mean, there's been plenty of days in these 22 weeks where I'm just like, oh man, I can't drink these 2 gallons of water. I can't eat these 7 meals. I'm doing over 2 hours of cardio a day right now. There's plenty of days where I'm just like, you know what, just not today. I just can't do it today. I'm like, no, you made this goal. You're going to finish. You've got to persevere. There's people that are depending on you to do this. And you learn how capable you really are.
That's a great learning for someone like yourself who spends a career helping others reach, you know, I would say, you know, what do you help them reach? You know, human optimization, but it's a belief in themselves. It's a place. We talked about it before. I feel it in this moment today. When you're in the zone, you just feel better. You feel better physically. You feel better mentally. Feel like you can tackle the world. Then you're in the business of helping people achieve getting into that zone, whatever that zone is for them, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, I kind of say it's the alignment of your purpose and your potential. It's getting people to self-actualization and realizing truly what they're capable of in their capacity, whatever that may be. It's their own definition of success. And I think that's the beautiful thing about this journey is we're all different, but that, you know, that just drive to be the best version of yourself.
So do you think you're reaching the best version of yourself in peak week?
Absolutely. This is by far the best I've ever looked. I'm excited. I mean, like I said, I hired the best coaching team I could find. I literally have 3 coaches that are getting me through this process right now. I have a body coach, I have a posing coach, and I have a, you know, bodybuilding coach. So I have a great team around me, a great supporting staff of my friends and colleagues. And I truly believe like I'm going to bring something to stage that not a lot of people are ready for.
You've done this before. So what's different this time?
Different this time is I didn't rush the process. I took the right route and I hired the right team. Because I'm a firm believer you can't do anything in life by yourself. You need a supporting cast. You are the product of those you surround yourself with. So when I went on this journey, from day one, I hired the best team I could find to take me on this journey, from my bodybuilding coach, Austin Connolly, posing coach, Tommy Wynn, my mobility coach, Anthony Anderson. And we did this process slow and the right way. I mean, you know, we live in a media gratification society, and that's just not how it works. If you want to achieve your best ever, whatever that is.
It takes time. It takes time. I think, you know, you and I have talked about this before, but I could say it's as easy as starting today, but it really is. You just got to get started. And then tomorrow you got to get up and you got to do it again. And then the next day you got to get up and you got to do it again. And you have to have a plan. You don't want to be haphazard about it. And as you pointed out before, sometimes it's just as easy as, I keep saying as easy, but you know, for some people that may not be easy, but it's about just go for a walk, a long walk, or start drinking a lot of water, or concentrate on getting a good night's sleep tonight, and let it slowly but surely build up. But you're so right. What you're engaged in will never give you instant gratification, but in a year or 2 or 3, it could really make a change. Hey, I read a great article. I just remembered it, about Tim McGraw, and he was in a movie. something Christmas movie, and he was kind of overweight, and his daughter said something to him like, "Dad, you really look big on the screen." And he went on a mission, and it took him like 4 or 5 years to reach. When you look at him, he seems kind of skinny, but he's in the best shape of his life, and he just lives it. And it took him about 4 or 5 years to get to this, what he views as the place he wants to be. But you got to be willing to take the time, don't you?
You do. And, there's a big difference between like that dopamine hit you get with immediate gratification. I mean, it does feel good in the moment, but it is maybe 1/100th of what you feel when you put all your time, energy, and effort into something for that true fulfillment. One of my favorite quotes is actually by Vince Lombardi, famous football coach, that said, "I firmly believe any man's finest hour is that moment he lays on the field of battle completely exhausted yet victorious." And I'm such a huge believer in that, by just putting everything you have into something and then coming out on the other side. And really, it's about finishing. That's really the big thing, is making a goal and finishing.
Well, you've found a new zone for Robbie. That is for sure. And what I want to do when we come back, we're getting close to the end of this segment, but I don't want to have to cut you off in the beginning of this, but we'll continue the conversation. But when we come back, I want to talk about what you see different. What do you see different when you look in the mirror versus where you were before, when you did this before? But when you're dealing with your coaches, let's come back to your coaches for just a second. How often are you have 3 coaches. Are you dealing with all 3 of them every single day?
So my posing coach, I was going to once a week. Now I'm going to him twice a week, just as we're getting closer to show. My body guy that works my mobility and fascial release, I was going to him once a week, but now it's twice a week. And then my main bodybuilding coach, we were checking in once or twice a week, but now it's literally AM and PM every single day. I'm even working out with him once a day right now, so it's almost 3 times a day.
Wow, that is really incredible.
It's accountability at its best.
Say it again?
It's accountability at its best.
Yeah, but again, I come back to this. It's you're living by example, and I bet you would be quick to say it's not about, even though it's a bodybuilding contest and it is about what you see in the mirror, but at the end of the day, it's what you're learning about what goes on inside you that is most important, and that's transportable to people around you. So when we come back from the break, we'll continue that part of the conversation when we continue talking with Robby D'Angelo, a human optimization coach who's in peak week getting ready for a bodybuilding contest this Saturday. We'll see you after this break.
You can also listen live to Super Talk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1 on your Amazon Alexa devices. Once you've enabled the skill, just say, "Alexa, open Super Talk Mississippi Gulf Coast."
SuperTalk.fm has a new look and is more informative than ever, with expanded Mississippi news coverage, the latest Mississippi weather, Mississippi sports, and of course, the talk that's important to you. Every show, every podcast, and every late-breaking story. Constantly updating the news the second new developments happen. All in one place. The new SuperTalk.fm.
Hey, South Mississippi, it's Jay Allen at Jay Allen Toyota, and I got something new for you for 2021. It's the Jay Allen Certified Collection. What that means is we selected our very best inventory with under 75,000 miles, and they're 6 years old or newer. That comes with a multi-point inspection, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, and a 3-day buyback guarantee. So come check out the Jay Allen Certified Pre-Owned Collection right here, I-10 exit 38 in Gulfport, or on allentoyota.com.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking hard-to-find PPE items. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. When your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
SuperTalk Mississippi.
Just seems to me people have so much invested in not telling the truth.
When you want the truth.
Simply because it might hurt some feelings.
And nothing but the truth.
Lose some subscribers.
You want the Gallo Radio Show.
I just think in this audience, you still believe that if you tell the truth, you come out ahead.
The Gallo Radio Show.
And if you tell yourself otherwise, you're lying to yourself.
Mornings on SuperTalk Mississippi.
SuperTalk Mississippi, your new home for the Ben Shapiro Show.
We don't hold back. We never shy away from telling you the truth.
The most electrifying national talk show on air today.
We have the most important guests and the biggest thinkers in America.
Ben Shapiro, brutally breaking down the issues of the day.
From politics to pop culture, we take a look at all of it. So don't miss out.
Weeknights at 9.
For something new and unique in talk radio, take a listen to The Ben Shapiro Show.
On SuperTalk Mississippi.
Hey, I'm Steve Azar, and you never know who or what you'll hear when I spend a Mississippi Minute with my friends. We're talking to Del Berra. Take me back to growing up and what it was like in the household with a dad like Yogi Berra.
You know, we grew up with his funny sayings. You know, I remember Dad managing the Mets, and me, Larry, and Timmy are watching the game on TV. And all of a sudden, 2 streakers run out of the stands on TV, and the camera flips away from them. So when he gets home, me, Larry, and Timmy say, "Hey, Dad, those streakers, what were they, boys or girls? We need to know." And Dad looked us right in the eye and said, "I couldn't tell. They had bags over their heads."
In a Mississippi Minute.
Be sure to check out In a Mississippi Minute with me, Steve Azar, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi, the SuperTalk Mississippi app, and now available on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher.
Talking to the people that help make the coast such a unique place to live. This is Coast View with Ricky Mathews on SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
Welcome back to Coast View. We're having a conversation with Robby D'Angelo. He's a great friend to the show, very motivating guy. He refers to himself as a human optimization coach, but he spends a lot of time helping people sort of aligning their body, what they want to do with their body, with their minds and their determination and their goals. And he's involved in a bodybuilding contest. He's in Peak Week this week. He'll be in a bodybuilding contest on Saturday, but he's quick to point out that what he sees in the mirror is important as it relates to this, as it relates to this competition. But what's going on inside him is more important. We're going to come back to that in just a second, but let's focus for just a minute about what you see in the mirror. First of all, this particular, what you're going to be involved in is not what people, when they pick up Muscle Magazine and they see these 300-pound guys that are just full of muscles like Arnold Schwarzenegger, et cetera. Tell us how this is different from that.
Yeah, I mean, there are going to be guys in the show that are competing in what's called open bodybuilding, which is the bigger guys. I compete in a category called physique, which is kind of like the best looking beach body, I guess is the way that most people call it. It's not guys that are overly massive. It's just all about having a great aesthetic and just having that V-taper and just like the best body you can achieve without having to go overboard with all the muscles.
Well, I'll tell you, Robby, I can't help but think about this, and we'll come back to what you see different from the last time you looked in the mirror. But let's go back. Okay, so you've done this event before, and you're at a level of excellence you've never been at before. But let's go back even further. Let's go back to the lineman, Robby D'Angelo, when you looked in the mirror after you played your last game at Southern Miss. How different is what you see today from that person?
Well, I mean, to be honest, back then I didn't look in the mirror. I didn't like the mirror. I didn't like the way I looked. I was, clinically obese. I was 310 pounds. So I didn't like the way I looked in the mirror. And even now, one of the main reasons I did my first ever show was to overcome those body insecurity issues and to gain more confidence in the way I looked and gain more confidence in myself. And, really when I look in the mirror now versus then, I see the hard work. And I see the dedication, I see the effort. And yes, I mean, I love the way I look, but it's so much more than just the physical appearance. Like I look in the mirror and I'm like, man, you've done it. Like you've pushed yourself. You've broke past some barriers you didn't think you could. And it reminds me of, like we talked about earlier, what I'm truly capable of. And that's a great lesson for so many people is when I talk to people about, they always ask me, well, weight loss, because that's part of my journey of losing over 100 pounds. I'm like, guys, it's not about the physical, and you're going to learn that in a hurry. It's about the mental journey you go on and the confidence you get and the personal integrity you gain from making a goal and sticking to that goal.
That is so important. So when you look in the mirror now, what's different about what you see versus what you saw the last time you did this competition?
Well, last time I did the competition, I'll be honest, like I waited too late to start prep. I lost like 40 pounds in 3 months. So it was a rough prep. I was overly stressed out at work, and it showed. It showed on stage. It showed my body. Like I literally had the manifestation of stress on stage with me. And I can't say this prep hasn't been stress-free, because I've had a ton of stress, like selling a business and negotiations and all that fun stuff that go along with being an entrepreneur. But at the same time, I've had an amazing support community. I've done this the right way with the right team of coaches that have kept me on track, even though I'm stressed out. And you see that difference. You see the difference that what happens when you execute a good plan with a good community, a good support staff, versus doing it all by yourself and being stressed out the whole time.
How much will you weigh on Saturday?
Right now, I think I was 198 this morning. I'm hoping to be somewhere around that 195 mark once we dry out a little bit and fill back up with carbs. So I'm hoping to be somewhere around there.
Wow. It's literally a different person. But again, man, you're living by example. You're learning things about the capacity of the human spirit that will give you invaluable abilities to help others. That's the way you see it, isn't it?
It absolutely is. I mean, that's what I said earlier. I don't ask anyone to do something I'm not willing to do myself. And if I'm asking my clients to push their boundaries and push past their comfort zones and break past their limiting beliefs, I've got to do that for myself. I've got to constantly be pushing myself to understand like what they're going through, what the hard times are like. I mean, doing a bodybuilding competition and being an entrepreneur at the same time, especially when you're launching new businesses and selling old businesses, it's tough. There's so much going on. And there's days where you don't want to work. There's days you don't want to work out. So I have to be able to be empathetic to the people I'm working with and put myself in their shoes. So when we're talking, I know exactly what they're feeling in those situations.
Well, I mean, a lot of the people that you work with, if not most of them, and frankly, probably all of them, have to deal with stress. And stress is probably one of the most significant issues we all face. And probably, I would think that maybe the next time we come together, we ought to talk about stress more specifically and give some guidance for people to deal with stress. I personally have had to deal with as a CEO for 15 years of my life. Man, I had to deal with stress beyond what most people would not imagine. And for anyone who knows my career path, they know that I had to learn to deal with it and cope. And if I had not done it, it probably would have killed me, to be quite honest with you. And at the end of the day, it's what led to my retirement. I decided, you know what? While I'm still alive and well, I am going to get out and enjoy life. Hey, listen, Robbie, it's been a pleasure. We'll come back in the next week or two, by the way, and just check in with you. We'll talk about stress, see how you did Saturday, and good luck to you, buddy.
Thank you, man. I definitely appreciate it. And Ricky, it's always a pleasure to come on Coast Vue.
You bet, buddy. This has been Robby D'Angelo, and have a great day.
Follow SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1 on Facebook. Facebook.com/SuperTalk MS Coast 103.1.